What up, TikTok? Hey, hope everybody's having a great Friday. Hey, don't let anything that's negative in your life dictate the rest of your life. Does that make sense? Hey, we all go through some hard times. We all go through some emotional stressors, maybe at work, maybe at home, whatever it may be. Don't let that dictate who you are and how you react to the rest of the things that life throws at you. Does that make sense? Like if you're feeling pissed off and angry all morning or all day, you're going to take that energy and you're going to present it to everybody else that surrounds you, your loved ones, your soldiers, whoever it may be. You're going to use that negative energy and it's just going to make everything worse. Try to be positive. Pick something positive in life that's going really well. Use that positive energy and let that dictate the rest of your day. We can harp on the negatives. We can harp on the bad things that are going on in life. It's not going to help us. It's not going to help us move forward. Stay strong, keep pushing, drive on. Happy Friday.
What's up, Trash Talkers? Hitting you up this morning with a special promo on how to dress when you are doing PT in civilians, but you want everybody to know you're an Army. This comes from the Buddy Beckwith fashion design of how to work out. So first, you can notice the RI panties. Not Ranger panties, but Ranger Instructor panties. The green socks, the knee brace for the old guys. Don't forget the M frames. Now the shirt, don't wear the Trash Talk shirt while you're running. This is just for the promo. You want to put on like an 80-second shirt or like your favorite airborne shirt so everybody knows that you're a veteran. That's the most important thing. And you start with this stretch. Buddy Beckwith taught me this one. Ready to go.
So, I'm walking out of the gas station and my co-worker, who's an old MP, but we still claim him, and has engaged the man in conversation. Not much for conversation with strangers, but he's got the tab. So, as I walk by, I say airborne, and the man responds with, and I quote, "Hoorah." So, after I instructed my coworker to slash every single tire before he put the car in gear, I looked for the biggest rock. As I crow hop to throw it through his back window so he can stop posing as one of us, I actually wake up and realize that the man's ignorance had incapacitated me for a moment, and I was daydreaming. I mean, because in that moment you got two options. I chose the third option and said, "Incorrect. That's an incorrect response." And I kept walking. The man said nothing and he pulled away. So you tell me, what is it, a stolen valor thing? No Marine's gonna have an airborne tab, and no paratrooper's gonna say an hoorah. So you tell me, stolen valor?
Hey, y'all, I'm going to work. I left you a note on the refrigerator. I love y'all. I'm gonna go.
Hey, go get dressed. Get ready for school.
You're doing great. I was just tooling around, tooling along. Shit! Bad guys! Stop!
Let me break it down Barney style.
Tonight's show is brought to you by Ventura Training and Athletics. Restore, train, maintain. Specializing in the restoration of the muscular system to help you move and feel better. Combating TBI, PTSD, and pain through specialized strength training. Again, get your body right, get your mind right, defeat the demons.
This is the Veteran Trash Talk Hour, hosted by Nick, Dave, Joe, and Buddy. Today's special guest is Bryan or Steven. We don't really know. Fuck it, we'll just send it.
Hey, what is going on, everybody? Happy Saturday. Welcome to episode 48 of the Trash Talk Hour. Shout out to our sponsors, Ventura Training and Athletics, Zach Farkas, and 10th Mountain Whiskey. Type in VTT and get yourself a discount. Special guest today is Coonhound trainer Bryan, also Buddy's best friend, which is a feat in itself. So we'll talk about that here in a bit. And today I'm joined by Nick, Bill, and Buddy. Over to you, Nick. Let's get the party started.
Hey, cheers, guys. Today's a bourbon day. It's Kentucky Derby, so I hope you're all getting ready for that. All you ladies got your fancy hats and your bow ties and all that kind of stuff. So it's gonna be a fun day. Yeah, we're missing Joe today. Those of you who watched the UFC pick'em last night, I'm pretty sure I hurt him too much emotionally for him to come on the show. But that's what you get for drinking Corona out of a can. All right. Again, that's not okay.
We love you, Joe.
We've learned from our mistakes, and it's fine. Big shout out to WTF Radio. Thanks for tuning in and watching. It kind of makes us legit, right? I'm a Facebook terrorist. Dave said that a few times, and that's what I do. I'll put something on Facebook and let all you guys get triggered. And again, we had more views last week than President Biden did on multiple platforms during his speech. So we're gonna put that up there, is that we are more popular than President Biden on some platforms. You can fact check that Facebook, because it's legit.
There's only like 2,000 views, right?
Well, I mean, CNN had like 40,000, but I mean, still, it's like, I mean, it's not a lot, for somebody who got 80 million votes. But we won't get into that. That's
right.
Neither here or there. Yeah. But hey, thanks for tuning in, Gruntworks team, and veteran trash talkers. Obviously, it's a blast to have you guys on here every Saturday, supporting us and supporting the community. That's kind of something to talk about. Is what are we about again? So we want to build a giant veteran community to help each other, and that's it. So people don't get it. We have enough viewers now to where people charge people to come on the show. It's because that's not what we do. All right, we want every veteran company, anybody who supports veterans, to become as successful as possible. So if we can get this Coonhound trainer we got on today, if we can get him, one more person to go over there and support his business, then it's a success. And as we talk about our page and our group on Facebook, when somebody's having a bad day, it's amazing how we spring to action. And we can blame the VA, we can blame everything, but the Book of Earl always tells you, embrace the ambiguity, and it's a whole system problem. It's not just one thing. People say, oh, it's toxic leadership causing people to kill themselves. All right, it's opioids causing people to kill themselves. All right, there's lots of things that in a system that's broken, and the only people who are going to fix it is us. So if you're looking towards the government, if you're looking towards the VA, all right, there's good people at the VA. There's good doctors at the VA. There's a lot of good nonprofit organizations out there that help. All right. But if we really want to put a dent into the 22 veterans a day, we have to step up. Now, we're the ones that have to make something happen. And like Joe says, he's not here, put some skin in the game. So again, we love your feedback. We love your, constructive criticism. But for those of you who, just want to sit around and hate all day, all right, ain't got time for you. We just don't. All right. We want people who want to move us forward. We want people who want to move veteran-owned businesses forward. That's why we ask the question when you join the group. It's, do you support promoting veteran-owned businesses? Because that's what we do. And without further ado, we do have a special guest host today, and we actually got him some 10th Mountain bourbon, which is rare. And so now he officially works for us now, because we give him free booze. But Bill is taking the place of Joe. He's impromptu, so we don't know what exactly he's going to talk about, but I'm sure, because now that he's a sergeant major, it's going to be boring as shit. So Bill, welcome to the Trash Talk Hour. Over to you.
Hi, well, two things. A few things, I should say. First of all, you can't say you give me free booze, so now I work for you. That's
true.
Defeats the definition of paying for work.
You work for me.
I think you did indeed break Joe yesterday with drinking Corona.
That was brutal.
That was brutal. It was relentless, but I think it's one of the better shows of banter. But I think he just couldn't take it again today. So you broke. Yeah, I am a sergeant major, Nick. So it would behoove you to caveat off of any of my safety brief or what's the other sergeant majorism? I got behoove, caveat, and if I piggyback off of anything,
Yeah, you got a
Piggyback
foot
off of
stomp,
it.
foot stomp, foot stomp. Hey, just so
Foot
you know,
stomp. I've also heard throw them a bone, except for not used in the correct context. So you just throw people bones all the time, but not in the correct context.
Just throwing bones, just like that.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
just throw me a bone. Like, you mean do you a favor or
Or why do you want me to cut this grass?
yeah.
clearly behoove has got to be the number one.
I got to cut you off there, Big
my
Bill.
personal-
Kevin
my
Travers
personal
says,
favorite?
"Where's my booze?"
Is Bahua of you.
Yeah, so Kevin Travers says, "Where's my booze?" Well, Kevin, just like Bill, we get as much out of you before we actually have to send you something. So we knew that Bill was the way out, so we had to do something about it. Buddy still works for free. We don't care. But Kevin, we're gonna.
Oh, I get free booze.
Yeah, you do.
I've
You
got
got that cordial.
I've got
All
several
Buddy
bottles.
cares about. He's got the cordial. He is good to
So
go.
all right, but
Shout out
hey,
to Ken.
so Bill, what do we got? What do we got? You got to talk about something.
So I was just thinking. So those of you who've been watching the news today, 10th Mountain just relieved another commander, and then there's another commander got relieved in Poland, and another.
Hey, Bryan, mute your mic.
All types of people. Two things. One, the major in Poland got relieved for having strippers bite him in the nipples and drinking a lot. For 82nd guys, we used to call that Friday at Sharky's.
Facts. And steaks. Don't forget the steak.
Or if you were poor, you went to Sparky's or what was the other one? House of Dolls.
I think that
BYOB.
mathematically, their sergeant major fiscally, it was a great team building opportunity to go to Sharky's, because a steak, salad, potato, and
Titties.
And boobs were $5 a person. I don't know if you know what the IMTO of an infantry platoon is, but there are 4 squad leaders. That's $20 a month to go to eat steak and look at boobies on Thursdays.
And the crab legs were free, so it was.
Yep.
And if you're really
The crabs
if you're really
are
hooting
free,
for
I
money
know
and
that.
you're in Florida, you can just
You
go to
could
Crab
definitely
Island
get
for
crabs
free.
there too.
Yeah, well, let's link up to Sharky's. Rest in peace. Sharky's is not here anymore, so it was a moment of silence for one of the tremendous places for paratroopers to go relieve some stress. I remember when they had quarter pitcher night. That was good. Quarter
And
for
like I said, if you're old enough, you remember House of Dolls being BYOB before it turned into what it turned into the cabaret or whatever they called it.
Was that
But anyway,
the Korean circle?
Secrets.
I don't know.
It turned into secrets. Why are we talking about like a whole we doing a whole show on strip clubs at this point? 4 brag strip clubs.
That's what the trash talk hour is, man.
we
Anyway,
can do that.
I digress. So I just came back from another school that I won't get into, but listening to other leaders give their theories on what it takes to be a good leader, and you have plenty of the just the throwaway lines, but it's really easy. It's called just be a good person. If you're just a good person, you'll naturally be a pretty damn good leader. So don't be like Nick. It's just who. Honestly, Nick,
Nope.
I think Project Athena might ruin you with these random sensing sessions from past UICs they're going to pull for you. I just can only imagine what Dave or Dave is going to say about you. Like, yeah, let me tell you about Nick Control.
Let me tell you what he says off the clock.
Yeah.
Greatest Facebook troll of all time.
Yeah, I've never met an equal. There's been some that are close, but
Terrorist. Facebook terrorist.
yeah.
Your ability to just reel in Tanner is just it's bar none.
Yeah, I mean, you got to look at that post and be like, Nick's full of shit right now. He's just trying to get Tanner to say something, and then, boom, there it is.
Ooh, for 4 eyeballs looking to the side. But anyway, that's my short one because it was a little impromptu. Just be a good person. Every day I'm picking up the news, and it's somebody else getting relieved over what I call the big 3, which ruins all leaders. Is whiskey, women, and weapons. and it's usually a combination of the two. Literally every organization I've been in, whether it was 82nd, 7th Group had the famous group commander with his little assistant. If you were ever there, you know who I'm talking about.
That got national
red
news.
Empire? That big red empire?
That got national news. That was covered.
Yeah. And, and it's the same thing, at the school I was at. God, it's the same dumb shit. They say the first 18 months of someone making Sergeant Major is the most dangerous 18 months because that's when they all get in trouble and they have all their crazy theories about it. My theory is this: a piece of shit has always been a piece of shit. It's just that now when they're in E9, there's more eyes on them. So now they're just getting exposed. So there's nothing in rank that's causing you to change. You were just always a garbage human being. And it's the same, you've heard me say it with the SHARP program when we've talked about it. No, nobody's ever received a SHARP brief and went, holy shit, guys, I've been raping this whole time? I'm so sorry. Thank God I got this slide that taught me what sexual assault was. No, you were always a sexual predator and you were always a piece of shit and should just go eat a bullet as far as I'm concerned. But that's my little soapbox for everyone today. Just be a good person.
Yeah, we don't promote shooting yourself on this show. In fact, we're the opposite. Unless you're a sexual predator, then
you can go start a shotgun.
Yes,
then
yes,
you can go start a shotgun.
We do support you blowing your head off. So
Yeah.
please, before you rape anybody, go shoot yourself.
Go rinse your mouth out with buckshot. Good to go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. So yeah.
Over. Buddy, right? Over to Buddy.
Yeah,
right?
but it's Buddy's turn. Buddy gets to give us his honesty cap, and then he gets to introduce his guest.
It's super fun to follow rinse your mouth out with buckshot on our show.
Yeah, but you can wash it down with 10 Mountain Whiskey afterwards.
Yeah.
VTT.
Well, Buddy can't because he got kicked out of his house again, so he's doing a show from a car again. So there you go.
Not just a car down by the river. No bullshit. I am down by the river, and I thought about buying a van this week, so it could have been a real creepy show. That being said, as we know, I am the single guy on the show, probably forever, because I'm real bad at relationships, it turns out. Anywho,
and swiping, not too good.
It's like Tinder's like this catalog that is always updating and is never done. It's the worst. It's the worst. Get you into a relationship just so you can continue to look and be like, fuck. Anywho, so I was doing a lot of thinking this week about my soapbox, and we do all our mission is to stop soldier suicide. And I was thinking about the different reasons why the people that I know have chosen to go that route. Some of them it's financial, but for the most part, it's relationship issues are a big contributing factor to why they do what they do, and they feel like the world is over. They lost the one that they love or whatever, or, they lost their family, their kids, and the thing is, I feel like we do a lot of looking at or listening to what people say that they do for us, and say that they feel for us, and say that they're going to I'm going to be there for you, and I love you, and but then they say that, but at the same time, their actions show a completely different story. And if you're going to look at something and try to figure out what you think is the real story, probably looking at their actions as the actual truth serum behind the entire thing is probably the way to go. Somebody can tell you that they love you, but if everything that they're doing enforces that they just don't actually give a fuck about you, they give a fuck about themselves, then maybe thinking about that, putting it into perspective, and then prioritizing the people in your life for what they help you do and what you can, how you can make them better, or are things that we need to worry about more than who tells us that we're great, or tells us that they love us, or tells us that they've got our back. Because you can tell me that you got my back, but if you got my back a mile and a half back, it ain't fucking helping. That's well out of small arms fucking range, and I can't even bound back to you, partner. That's the shit's like, I need you closer. Anyway, that's my my honesty cap.
Wait a minute. Bound back
for the week. Bound back. Yeah.
Is that a special forces thing where you break contact? Because in the 82nd we bound forward. Not quite sure.
Sometimes we bound sideways. Sometimes we oblique. I feel like there are many different directions.
I don't think oblique is a movement technique. I'm pretty sure that's a method of fire. So
no, an oblique is a diagonal, genius. So if you're bounding back and to the side, i.e., going.
Is that what you yell? Bound oblique?
We have an argument about tactics.
I think we are.
That.
I think we are.
Do that.
We should. I actually read the doctrine.
So I do have the opportunity to introduce Steve McQueen. I'm going to call. I rather go with Steve McQueen because I like Steve McQueen anyway. But Bryan / Steve McQueen was in the Arista platoon with me in the 101st, and I got there. And
never heard of it.
Let's see, 2011 is when I got in there. I walked in, and I'm not gonna lie, the acting platoon sergeant at the time was sitting at the desk, high as giraffe pussy, on some kind of weird like prescription pill. And I was like, okay, this is the guy. Met the platoon. It was a Rista platoon that wasn't really allowed to do Rista stuff 3/4 of the time. They really wanted him to be an infantry platoon, but didn't want to give him any weapons that an infantry platoon would have, or the amount of people that an infantry platoon would have. And then randomly sprinkled in.
Buddy went frozen there. So
people that probably shouldn't have been in the Army.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Sure, that was really funny. You froze, but
you froze, buddy.
Man, I'm sure that would have got us like 60 more viewers if you just would have not been kicked out of your house. Yeah. So yeah.
What?
Anyways, Bryan, we make fun of the guests in the song. So when I got your when I got your bio,
I'm back. You fucking genius.
Yeah, we can hear you, buddy. So
can you?
Yes, you're sitting there having a temper tantrum with your phone, so I figured I would continue.
Wow. Anywho, well, can I finish my intro then?
Sure.
Jesus, Nick, you're the worst. Anywho,
your phone is the worst.
That Rista platoon was Bryan McQueen. I remember one time we went to JRTC, pulled down on some dudes. 3 people out of that entire platoon jumped out of the truck to like close with the Op 4 and
all the action buddies seen his entire military career.
Yeah, that was it.
All the JRTC
war stories.
JRTC. You guys remember JRTC? I was there once. Anyway, so Bryan was one of those guys. Now he's doing now he's training coon dogs, and he got out of the Army. So I'll let him tell his story for the rest of it. Also, Nick, suck a dick. There you go.
Sharp.
Were you Rakasans?
No.
Okay,
yes and
that's
no.
all that matters.
Yes and no.
Yes and no.
So the Rista platoon that we were in was in 4th Brigade of the 101st. And when we disbanded, me being a lower enlisted guy, I transferred to 3rd Brigade with the 506. So I was technically still in the same unit, but with the Rakasans. So we were like the redheaded stepchildren.
Yeah, how many Tories do you have to draw before you're accepted?
Say that again.
You want to know about the Tories, but I'm pretty sure you just have to say Rakasan after as a period after every sentence.
We refused to draw Tories, so we weren't really ever accepted. We still rock the spade.
So we have a question because we made fun of you in the song. We didn't know what to call you. All right. Do we call you Steve? Do we call you Bryan? Because your bio said my name's Steve, but in parentheses it's Bryan. Why would you not want to go with Steve McQueen?
Because my dad owns that name.
Oh, okay.
I'm a junior.
Do you want to get into it?
But I mean the bullet.
We have heard some horrible Alabama dad stories.
The bullet nickname is mine though. No one can take that. I own that title of the family. But Yeah, I guess my dad couldn't come up with a better name, so he just slapped Junior on the end of it.
I mean, why would you come up with a better name than Steve McQueen? The famous,
you
awesome
can't.
actor.
So I mean, you can't.
Yeah.
So
Well, yeah. So welcome to the Trash Talk Hour, Bryan. We'll derail you off your points real quick, so you kind of got to stay sharp. So yeah, keep going. Keep going with your service, and then what you do for a living now. Let's get you some promotion.
okay. So so after I was in the Army 9 years. I did one tour to Kabul, Afghanistan, and my last tour was to Logar with Third ID. Somehow I ended up in that great unit, and ended up getting wounded while I was over there. I took a shot to the back of the head in an insider attack from very close range with a PKM, and that ended my military career, to say the least. But I got out and suffered a huge identity crisis, like, because 9 years by then you're indoctrinated, and thought that's all I wanted to be. And so I went through that and all of the things that come along with getting shot in the head. And the VA was like, I know you're talking about bashing the VA earlier, and I'm not here to do that because it is what it is. But I really didn't like anyone at that point in my life. And I just wanted a dog, like, you get all these people who've never been out of country, and they're walking around with emotional support animals and all that. And as a kid, I always I had an older father figure that would take me like coon hunting. He got me into the love of coon hounds. And I basically just took my rehab in my own hands, and I searched for what I wanted to do. And I was like, well, I'll just start a business that'll also provide me with the rehab I'm searching for, and give me coping mechanisms to deal with everything. So I started out under a different name, and I had a fellow Alabamian that had made more strides in the business than I had, and he decided to take me on under his business. And so I work for them, but for myself. I rock their name, but still do all of my own little thing. And the one thing I wanted to incorporate into my business was to help fellow wounded warriors, because we really only have each other at the end of the day. It's like Buddy said, people will blow smoke up your ass all the time and talk about how I support the troops. Well, how do you support the troops? Like, talk is cheap. And I've always been raised that way, that words mean nothing. And it's bad to say, because a man should be a man of his word, but that's just not the day and time we live in. So I took it upon myself for my little piece of the pie to help wounded vets. However, I'm going to try to incorporate a quarterly wounded vet hunt. I successfully pulled one off a few months ago. And the vet, he's also from Alabama, and his son came along for the trip, and I took them out and showed them a good time. And actually, he got into it himself afterwards, because it's very therapeutic. People hear coon hunting, and they probably think, like, here, I'm from Alabama, they probably think yee stories and stuff like that. But it's a really therapeutic thing, and it's more about the dog than it is anything. Working with the dog and the relationship with the dog, and the dog being successful. And if that's what you enter this game with your priority, then that's what you'll get, and you'll get something back in return. But as of right now, I'm operating under Whitewater Kennels, and I'm the president of the Coonhound branch of the side of the house. And I just dropped an apparel line. I got like 4 pilot items. So you can go to whitewaterkennels.com and click on newest items, and I'll have like 3 shirts and a hat, I think. But what the proceeds for my apparel line, what I'm trying to achieve with that, is that side of the house is going to support my being able to take wounded vets hunting. That's not my profit side. I do well enough on the hound side of the house to where I can run the business along with what I make through the VA for being retired. But yeah, I suffered a shit hand in the Army, just a freak accident, wrong place, right time. And I just basically took my rehabilitation into my own hands. And in the beginning, I gave myself over to alcohol, and I was dabbling in drugs and stuff like that. Nothing hard, just trying to stay numb, because I suffered the loss of someone else on that deployment, really good guy. And having to leave my guys and be medevaced out as a squad leader was really tough, because like forgot his name, the sergeant major that was talking.
Yeah,
if
we
you're
don't
just
remember
a
his
shit
name
human
either.
being, it'll flash up here in a minute. But if you're just a shit human being, then you're going to be a shitty leader. And I had leaders early on. I was fortunate, like Buddy and people like that, who could have a good time and still fuck you up if you needed it. And I always wanted to incorporate that into my leadership style. And I always believe that, like, if you take care of those around you and you make their lives better and easier and shield them from as much bullshit as you can, that they'll assault hell with a squirt pistol for you. And I was successful in that aspect. I still to this day keep up with all of my guys and make sure that they're mentally healthy, and try to be an example for them, that if I can go through what I went through, even though they were close to what happened, that they can still push on and drive on too. And that was my intent when Buddy invited me on this show. That was my intent for coming on here, is if one person can benefit from my story and what I've been through, and how alcohol, isolation, drugs, none of that will help you, that you have to actually take your rehabilitation into your own hands and not rely on the VA or those around you. If you have a shitty support system, tear it down and build a new one. Like, that's currently what I'm going through. I'm having to rebuild a new support system. But I know at the end of the day, if a bullet from 30 feet away couldn't take me out, then nothing in civilian world can take me out. And I am the captain of my own fate.
Amen to that.
In an instance. So, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Bryan, we got some chatter on the thread here on Gruntworks. Where can they find you got a website?
Whitewaterkennels.com.
Whitewaterkennels.com. And then we had another person come on here and say, hey, you're so cool. So you're cool. All right. So you got that going for you. Don't let Buddy tell you anything different. All right.
Awesome.
No, but
so
go ahead, buddy.
Bryan, do you you went through, you kind of hit the wave tops of your ending of your career and kind of transitioning to where you are now, but it there's no way. I followed you a little bit on Facebook. I've seen kind of the struggle. It wasn't all easy. It wasn't all
no.
I felt like I want to play with some dogs. And then now, this is how long ago you got shot? What,
September 3rd of 18.
Yeah. So almost 4 years ago you got shot. Well, 3 years ago you got shot. But your life has changed almost 180 degrees in that short 3 years. You've gone from being an upcoming staff sergeant in the Army, hanging out with the boys, wife and kids, to, hunting with coon dogs and rebuilding your support system, doing all that stuff. How did you get through? There's some dark days in there, man. There's some days where it's pretty bleak. How did you get through those pre-dogs to figure out where you were?
Yeah, definitely. I kind of gave a brief synopsis of the dark days, but if you would have called me on this show within the first year and a half of me being back home, I would have been piss poor material. I hated the world, I hated myself, I hated everyone around me. I couldn't look at my kids, hated my wife, and we're going through a divorce right now. The struggles of 15 years of marriage, getting married straight out of high school, roll tide, and just dealing with life stressors. It just like I almost crumbled under it. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say, hey, I rekindled an old love from my childhood, and now I'm perfectly fine. I still have shit days. Like, I mean, I still have nightmares. I still have PTSD and all that stuff, they say. And like, I just know that going down that road, that alcohol is the worst thing that you can rely on. Like, if you want to drink to have fun, whatever, do you. But like, I'm talking about drinking like a fifth of whiskey a day, living in my garage, like playing PlayStation all day because I fucking hated the world. Like I just wanted to die. Like, I mean, I've never been a suicidal type person. I've never wanted to result to that, but I definitely know what it's like to lay in the bed for 3 days and not care if you wake up. And if anyone on this, watching this, can relate, just know that there's always brighter days. Like, you just got to hold on and keep driving. I mean, what would it benefit me to go through the hell that I went through over there and come over here and die at my own hands? That just doesn't make sense to me. That's not even on my radar. Even though I wanted to die, that's never the answer. That's never the answer.
Hey, let me cut you, Bryan, real quick. Like, you're hitting amazing points. Where was the deepest part and the turning point where you just said no more? Because like, it's obviously evident that you made that change. You yourself said, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm ready for a new beginning. But where was, if you want to hit on it, where was that deep point where you just said, you know what, I'm done?
Yeah. So like, I woke up one day and I realized that I no longer wanted to be that hateful person. Like, cause I'm not that way by nature. I'm a lover. Like, I love everybody I meet. I get along with everybody I meet. And like, I keep a tight circle. And if you're in my circle and I tell you that I love you as a person, like, I'll die for you. But it just, like, I woke up one day and I was like, I don't like who I am. And I don't know how to fix it, but I have to fix it. Obviously, my wife and our relationship didn't make it past the turmoil and what everything brought. But I realized that even though I was no longer on the battlefield and I was no longer battle effective, I could still fight the unseen battle by sharing my story. I had a powerful story. Like, not too many people walk around, take a PKM bullet to the back of the head and get up and drive on. Like,
damn right, bro. Damn right.
I guess I was built like a tank in that aspect, but I've just always tried to be the one to shoulder the burden of the people beside me. And that's what I'm trying to do now. That's what I'm trying to do with this business. I'm rehabbing myself, but I'm also wanting to offer outlets for other vets, or maybe another aspect that's not available to our community. Because the time it takes to efficiently train a dog from start to finish, it's something you can be proud of once you see them succeed. And it's also a companion that you're building. So, yeah, I woke up one day and I realized that I had an outlet to benefit other people, and I needed to use that and not sit on it.
Boom. Hey, that's phenomenal, man. And you're going to save a lot of lives, and a lot of people that are watching this might be in that dark place right now. And now they can realize, hey, there is a way out, you know, because we always preach it here. If a change starts within, you have to want it, and then utilize all the other resources that are out there to help you out. But it has to start within. And yeah, dude, I salute you, man. Good shit,
yeah,
brother.
Cheers to that, Bryan. And then you brought up another good point that we've hit on here a bunch of times, and Buddy said it before, is, yeah, you got PTSD, and the way you said it is exactly how you should look at it. Yeah, they say I got PTSD because you do, but it's not who you are.
No, it's not. And I thought that for a long time.
Don't let it define you. Yep. Exactly.
And people get so mad when we say your military service doesn't define you. They get so triggered on Facebook, and it's like, no, look, we're not saying not to be proud of your service. We're not saying that you shouldn't be sad about some of the parts of your service or angry, right, or whatever. But it's not your soul. It's not.
Right.
It's not who.
Remember
It's
when
not
I
who
said
you
your
are.
military service doesn't define who you are? I got attacked for like 48 hours.
Oh yeah,
It was
that's all we're catching the heat.
crazy.
This is bullshit. Then I got accused of being a commie.
Yeah, damn Russians. Yeah.
Well, what people need to realize is like the real turning point for me was when I realized that no one out here gives a shit what you've done. That really helped me, honestly. Like, it's a slap in the face to begin with. Like, people say thank you for your service and all that, and they do that to be cordial, and that's cool and everything. But we have to take care of each
Buddy
other.
loves that word.
Cordial.
Oh yeah, only because it's the
That's
name
it,
of the
shout out to
greatest
10th Mountain.
whiskey that's ever lived.
Yeah.
You know what? You know what's funny though, Bryan? Like, listen to your story. The thing that we've talked about it before, but the thing that strikes, and it's kind of a thread with all of the guests that we have on here that have actually been through stuff and had to kind of work through it. Nobody ripped you out of the bed that you were in for 3 days and told you to get up and grab your nuts and start being start fucking fixing yourself. You did that. You know what I mean? Like, you saw that you had a problem. You saw, and you decided to take the positive steps. And that's gone through like most of the guests that we've had on here. And nobody's going to come find you. And there's no like SF team or like SEAL Team 6 that's going to raid your house, pick you up and take you to a place where they'll fix you. You have to fix yourself. And
right.
I think that it can't be said enough that at some point you have to be tired of being tired, and then you have to fucking get up and do something about it.
That's right. And I couldn't even rely on my spouse. Like, as much as military spouses, as much as they serve too, far as like holding down the home front and stuff like that, I could not say a bad word about my wife. I could go over there and fight and not have to worry about the kids and stuff like that. But she could not fathom what I was going through. And I know a lot of guys and even girls on here are probably dealing with the same thing, where they want to confide in someone and their spouse is not it. And it's not their fault. It's not any fault of theirs. They just can't fathom what you went through. And like, when I came back 3 days after, my wife was like, all right, that excuse is kind of tired. I mean, I thought I had a pretty good excuse, being shot in the head, but
yeah, that's a pretty valid excuse.
I said, people.
Well, I mean, hey, everything's set. If you're one of those people that thinks that things happen for a reason, and it's like, maybe some of that is what you had to hear too. Some of that all came together in that system. Might not have been good at the time, might not have been the right thing at the time, but it was shaping and molding you.
This isn't a platform to push religion or whatever, but I've always had religious roots.
You push whatever you want.
And I believe that I was spared for a reason, because the intensity of the way I was wounded and just the way I was able to just bounce back from it physically, not mentally, that was a long road. But I know it had to be divine intervention. And if that's what'll get you through this, then hold on to that. Find a higher power, trust in Jesus, whatever you want to say. But I mean, you have to get out of that. You have to get out of that bed. You have to make the steps to improve. And no one around you is going to fathom what you've been through except each other, us, who's on here right now. So that's what helped me when I realized that no one in the outside world, as much as I sacrificed my brain, bled from the back of my head for this country, no one out here owes me shit. And that was the hardest thing to get over. And the people that attack y'all for saying your service doesn't define you, that they haven't come to terms with that. And once you come to terms with that, it is selfless service. Like, we forget that part of it, that it is a sacrifice and you don't ever truly get paid back for that sacrifice. Then once you own that, you can move on.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's huge, because we've had multiple veteran-owned business guys come on this show, and the first thing they say, hey, what's the number one slap in the face dealing with starting your own business is, hey, realizing that nobody gives a shit what I did 2 years ago when I was in the Army, Navy, Marine, whatever it is. So you just got to keep on grinding.
Yeah.
And pull yourself up by the old bootstraps, to use the old cliche. But again, military doesn't define you, and civilians don't give a shit. It's just the way it is.
Yeah,
That's
old
right.
Navy SEAL. We had old Navy SEAL Mike on one of our first episodes, and a real cool dude. And he swung and missed like 3 times with his entrepreneurship until he finally got on track. And that was the stigma he had to get over. It was like almost like once you finally sat up and say, "Fuck, man!" In the civilian world, nobody gives a shit, and like in the corporate world, nobody cares. And because it's moving too fast. If you want to be successful in business, you got to keep moving. And you can't sit here and be like, well, I used to be on top. Well, no, you're at the bottom now, dude. You are at the bottom of the world now.
The number one thing that civilians expect from you is a hard work ethic. That's it. They look at a veteran on a job application or something like that, and they're like, okay, this person's going to work hard. And that's all they expect from you. They don't care how many dudes you schwacked in whichever foreign country you fought in. They don't care what blood you shed. They only want productivity. And if you're at a place where you can't give that, then you're not going to be successful.
That's true.
Right. So talk. Oh, Dave, you got a question? Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let's just phenomenal stuff. I love the attitude, Bryan, and just you can tell by the way you carry yourself and everything. Just you're full of life, and there was, like Buddy said, probably about a year or two ago, where you're in a different spot. But look at you now, So I salute you again, brother. But let's talk about your company a little bit. And like the aspect of the dog training. So like all I'm getting is that you're a coonhound trainer. So do people bring dogs to you? Do you train them and then go hunt with them? Like talk about that a little bit.
Bryan, just so you know, Dave is a German kid rapper, so you're gonna have to explain it to him because he's not from Alabama. He doesn't know.
You can do it in German or Italian, English, whatever.
Raccoon, Dave.
No big deal.
It's a trash panda, if you will. That's
what I was curious about too. So to answer Dave's question, which I'm interested in your answer of what does a coonhound trainer do? I also want to know, why would you hunt a raccoon? So like I'm also a city boy, so I'm like, why did you just leave the fucking thing alone? So yeah, go ahead.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely a rural activity. So start to finish. Okay, so the reason you would hunt a raccoon, you don't have to kill them. It's not like I said, it's not about killing the raccoon. It's more about finding this hound.
What are you torturing it? What the fuck? You're not killing it?
No, you don't have to wound it at all. Like I said, it's about the dog and the dog working. And those dogs are bred like they come out of their mother with their nose to the ground, wanting to track and trail something. And you take this dog with the potential that it has for what it's been bred for since the first wolf walked up to a fire and got domesticated. Like these dogs were selected and bred to do this. And it's in them. It's just like you can't teach warrior spirit. Like you're either born with it or you don't got it. And so I take these dogs from a puppy or whatever. It's a network. So my job is a lot of networking, a lot of making contacts, and I've been blessed and successful in that. But the owner will contact me by my advertising or whatever, and say they have a puppy that they want trained, and maybe they don't have the know-how because it's not common knowledge to train a dog to coon hunt. So
I've watched a dog whisperer. I'm pretty much.
I'm almost there.
Not,
dog whisperer as well.
Not even close. Not even the same thing.
You just get a coon by it, and then when it doesn't chase it, you go nit nit.
Yeah. If you make the same sound in a coonhound, I was told that it chases raccoons. So
yeah, but yeah. They use these dogs for a whole array of game to chase. Like up north, they use them for mountain lions and bobcats, and out west, like they tree bears, and in West Virginia, they hunt bears with them. And like it's more about the dog. It's not really about the game. That's just the specialization I'm in. That's where my wheelhouse is. And these owners contact me because they see me through advertisement, and maybe they don't have the know-how or the time. Being that I retired out of the military, I have all the time in the world to make this business successful, and that's what I pour my time into. So I will get these dogs from people at a certain rate per month, usually is what I charge. And I will pour all my time into this animal and get them on the track for the owner for what they want to see out of the dog. And it's a success rate business. Sometimes it doesn't matter the blood. Like the dogs that I deal with are all like highly papered, great bloodlines. Like it's a real thing. And sometimes you get dogs that are just duds. And
so, let me cut you off real quick. Is this
go ahead.
state run? So do people send you to the dog and then you hold on to that dog for like 2-3 months or whatever? Or do they just come to you on a weekly basis for training? Like if somebody in California wants their dog trained, and if they're watching right now, they can just send their dog to you? Like how would that work?
If they can get it to me, yes. If they can pay to ship the dog to me, then yes, I would charge them the same rate as anyone else. I board. So it's such an intricate process to train the dog that the dog stays with me until the training is complete. One way that I battle, like, so when I was a kid, when I was 15, I sent a dog to a guy like myself to be trained. And he basically just took my money, and the dog didn't know anything when I got him back. So to combat that, I offer video evidence of the dogs being worked so that the owners know. I keep a close relationship with the owners, and eventually, as my business grows, I'm going to implicate a train the trainer type thing. But as of right now, I offer video evidence of the dogs being trained and worked, so the owner can rest easy knowing that they're being taken care of and they're not just sitting in a pen somewhere and me drawing money from them, pretty much.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's basically a relationship with me and the owner, and I provide the training tailored to their wants and needs for their dog.
What's the length? I mean, I know obviously some dogs train faster than the others, but what would be the average length for somebody that's watching? They say, hey, I'm going to send my dog to him so I can go hunt raccoons. Like what's the length?
Because everybody needs to shoot a raccoon, right?
Yeah, like, apparently.
I still need to know why you
really good if you know how to cook them.
Man.
But I won't get into that. So yeah, my typical length is a month is what I offer. But like I just had a dog go that I had for 3 months. It's all about customer satisfaction. So if they like what's the progress that the dog is making, like you said, some are faster than others. Some need more time. And that's all shooter preference for the owner. Like if they want me to keep the dog longer, I'll keep the dog longer. If the dog is not doing anything, I'm not going to take their money. I'm going to call them after 2 weeks, because after 2 weeks, I can tell if the dog is going to do anything or not. And I'll be like, hey,
you just call them and say, hey, your dog's stupid. I'm going to send them back with your money.
with tact. Yes.
With tact, yeah.
Like so I charge, the way I charge my rates is half up front, half at the end. That way, in that 2 weeks, I have put in my time and you have got your money's worth of what you've already paid. And then when the dog is picked up, you pay the rest. And I do that for the simple fact, if the dog is crap, then I can call the owner back and say, like, hey man, this ain't panning out. I don't want to keep taking your money. You need to sell this dog and buy a new one.
that dog must be from Auburn, right? Is that usually what you tell them? So
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but I've already made networkings with guys in neighboring states as well. So I've been getting dogs from all over. So there's no limit to, if you want your dog down here to train with me, we'll make it happen. And I'm willing to travel a little bit to make it happen. And if there's people on here who have seen the show today and they realize they want to get into it and don't know how, I'm always available for questions. I don't charge for people picking my brain, because it's a dying sport. And
well, you're from Alabama, so the brain, like, but we could pick your techniques, but the brain we figured out.
Nick's just
Hey,
getting
don't
upset.
don't listen to Nick. He's still mad that Wisconsin hasn't won anything, and the Packers just lost Aaron Rodgers. So,
Well, you obviously didn't watch. You didn't watch the show yesterday, but we covered Aaron Rodgers.
What Nick's really mad about is this is what basically his childhood. His mom took baby Nick back to the hospital and said, "This one's dumb. Can you take it back?"
This one's dumb. Send it back.
yeah.
So Bryan,
yeah, they kept it. They kept Nick for 2 weeks too, and then they were like,
well, they just played George. They just played George Thorogood, and everything was okay.
do you guys just do for hunting, or is it just basic obedience as well and all that stuff?
That's a future endeavor. Like I said, I'm in the infancy of my company. I've only been operating since January, honestly, and I've went through the growing pains. I've hit the point where I'm profitable now, and I'm able to do other things to branch out and help veterans. But I had a TBI moment. What'd you ask me?
If you guys just do like basic obedience as well, squirrel, cats, no. Like basic obedience as well, or is it just mainly focused on
that's a future implication that I want to add to the business. Like I said, as I grow, I want to add train the trainer type stuff.
It's always about training the human. It's not about training the dog. Damn right. Yeah, I'm real big in the dogs as well. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's a different topic, Dave. But that's fine.
Well, I mean, if I would have gotten out and had the dog handler experience, I might have ended up with Malleys. Who knows? I love Malleys, but that's just not my wheelhouse. So I took the knowledge that I had and I tried to make something out of it. And I ended up dealing with breeds that I already knew and loved. And like I said, this is another asset. Like there are a lot of fallen outdoor outlets that take people deer hunting and different types of hunting, but I feel like I'm adding something fresh and new to the veteran community, because it is a dying sport. And my father figure that got me into this, he got me into this under the understanding that I would always help new people get into it. So I want to implicate train the trainer. I want to implicate obedience later. I want to implicate youth clinics, like to bring kids down, show them how to blow a call, like show them how to pick a puppy, how to teach them to lead, and like all kinds of stuff.
That's awesome.
But yeah, it's just
with Buddy bringing up Aaron Rodgers, there was a comment on the thread that said, because Aaron Rodgers is such a giant baby, is it possible that your techniques could help him?
I didn't make it past high school football, so I wouldn't even begin to help him. He's already superseded any expectations that I would meet in that area.
Yeah, but he hasn't made it past high school emotional problems yet. So I think that's what the comment is could you take him for 2 months and actually like train him to be a man?
I could, yes, I could. If he could perform down here with the gators and snakes that we have and pterodactyl mosquitoes, then he could perform up in Green Bay, no problem.
Oh yeah, he's a Northern California boy. He's not doing that at all.
He's got to come down here with some bad weather and he'll be able to perform. But
awesome.
Bryan, are you pretty busy, or when somebody signs up with you, you immediately able to get them in, or do they have to wait a while before, are you backlogged? Or
as of right now, I'm about a month out. I'm booked about a month.
I mean, that's good. Business is booming. Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, it's a good problem to have. I had another associate that was helping me, but he also has a full-time job, and he didn't pan out as well, for lack of a better word. So I'm still doing it, just all me. But yeah, I take in a select amount of dogs because I'm offering quality training over quantity. Because when you start to take in too many, then you start to let them sit in the pen and take people's money and stuff like that. And I never want to be about that. So
the opposite of Buddy's Tinder advice.
Well, I've been on Tinder the last few weeks, and it's a circus.
Quality over quantity, correct.
Quality over quality over
Dude,
quantity with dogs. Tinder is the
Swipe,
opposite.
swipe.
Swipe. You gotta develop something that swipes right.
Hey, Brian. I'm just saying, if you need somebody to write your Tinder profile, I got you. I'm good.
You gotta lie about the height. You gotta lie about the height, right, buddy? You got.
When you don't lie about the height, you just get an inversion table and get taller.
Find a way to get taller. Yeah.
I'm 6'2", so I don't have to lie about the height.
There you go.
You can always be taller. You can always be tall.
I always say that's why I got domed. I'm too tall. I was an easy target. But
yeah, that reminded me of when I was a gunner in Iraq, and my PL, old Goldtree, Silver Star Goldtree, is like, "Hey, tell that gunner to get down." And I was like, "Well, I'm 6'3", dude. Like, sorry."
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah.
Take over the turret.
Those vehicles aren't made for people who are in the sixes. They're definitely made for like World War II era midget guys. But
now, hey, it was an absolute pleasure we'll having you on, and we'll keep this conversation going because thankfully you're a great guest. It's always a wild card with Buddy, and I like to I like to recap the show now because it got some positive feedback and a little AAR. And so, what did we learn today? We learned that Buddy did not come prepared with a good honesty cap, but at least he brought on a phenomenal guest. All right, we learned that. We also learned that I'm still living rent free in Bill's head, and you always know that when somebody tears you down, it's because they have a lower self-esteem. And if I'm here, Bill, for you to feel better, then I will be that for you. All right. So if you have to insult me, I'm here for you. Do that, please.
Gladly.
I did.
Gladly.
I wanted to get.
Since we have another infantry guest, I think it should be good for him to know that one of us took a knee in a parking lot and slammed a White Claw and said, "All hail the king of battle."
That was me. That is a fact that happened. And
you see his eyes right now? You see his eyes right now?
I'm okay with it. It happened, and so
I
because
see your little infantry placard behind you.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that happened, but I don't like to make excuses. And like I said,
lost bet.
It's a lost bet. Yeah, it's a lost golf round. And but I did win the White Claw challenge. Bill actually drank more White Claws that day than me, and he had to say on video how good they tasted. I think about 5 times. So it was
on my feet, not on my knees like a bitch.
Well, I lost. That was the bet, So again, it's really hard to trigger the Big Earl because I do preach, not becoming a triggered pansy. It does happen, but again, to use Bill's big words, like to caveat off of what Buddy was saying earlier with the Book of Earl, is surround yourself with people that move you forward.
That's right.
All right, and I think you did an awesome job talking about that. About how I love that comment about the inner circle, and I keep you close, and that's exactly what we're trying to do here at VTT is get that circle bigger.
I love what you guys are doing. I support it 100%.
Well, thanks, Brian. And we want that circle to be big enough to where if you need somebody to push you forward, there's somebody in that circle that's going to do it.
Yep.
And I know Buddy tried to get serious on us. I don't know why. Nobody ever takes him serious. But, he, again, if you suck, man, like we just don't got time for it. You tell me you care for me.
Did you want to ask Ryan to take part in the VTT survey from yesterday?
Like, dude, is it okay to drink Corona from a can?
I don't drink Corona, period.
Yeah. I mean, if you did, is it okay?
Whitewater Kennels is brought to you by the official beer of Alabama, Bush Latte.
So Bush Latte is definitely something you drink from a can. That is 100% appropriate. But yeah, I just it kind of sucks, and I want to give a shout out to the 3 L's. Okay, we got Leah, Len, and Letha. Okay, they are part of the VTT family, and they are going to launch a show in May, which is called, Monday Throat Punch. Okay, so they're kind of going off of Joe's quote, and they're going to do a show. They're going to do a podcast, and again, I'm going to ask the community to support it, because not only because it's awesome, but it's hard for the topics that we talk about, and we kind of neglected the female side when we started, because we obviously we're men. We didn't think about it. And, but like, there's a huge following of females and warriors that deserve that attention as well. So they're coming out in May with an awesome podcast, and, we're going to do everything we can to get it out to as many people as possible. But like they say, they're not the same people. They're not the same minds. So if you're going to watch it and you don't like what they say, all right, then come on and talk about it. All right. Don't sit there and be self-righteous and think that your idea is the only idea.
Right.
I think we prove that all the time here on VTT, is where it's like, man, throw your shit out there.
Right.
Say something. Somebody's going to say you're stupid. Somebody's going to agree with you. Right. And it's like, but don't be on the other side of the bell curve, Perry. All right. I'm talking about the bell curve. I got it. People listening to podcasts can't fucking see my drawing. All right. You triggered me. Perry triggered me. He's not even on the show. All right. So, but anyways, Bryan, you get the last word. Like, what do you got? Tell us again where to find you. How do we use you? All that kind of stuff. And thank you so much for coming on. You're an awesome guest.
I
buddy.
appreciate it, man. Y'all are great hosts. You can find me. I'm on, I try to be across all social media platforms. So I have a Facebook page. You can find me by my name, Bryan McQueen with a Y. And if you go to my Facebook page, you can actually click on my kennel page and it'll take you to that. And you can see like some of the work I've done with other dogs. I have a YouTube channel that hasn't gained traction yet, but on there, I'm trying to put training tips and stuff for people. And sometimes I record night hunts and put on there just for people to watch that don't hunt and just want to view and see the dogs work. The YouTube channel is called Whitewater Coonhounds. And also the company that I'm under, Whitewater Kennels, they deal in other enterprises such as dog boxes, like the way you haul your dogs to the woods to hunt, coolers. They have apparel line as well. But if you want to support the coonhound side directly, like I said, go to whitewaterkennels.com, click on newest items, because I'm running a pilot line. If I can get more sales, then I can add more colors and flavors and all that stuff. But right now I have 3 shirts and 1 hat. This is one of the shirts that I have. It's got my little logo. But you can find me on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. My name is Prez_Whitewater_Coonhounds.
Wait, you have a third name?
Did you say Perez?
Prez, like president.
Prez, like president.
Oh.
President.
And he's been confusing me all day.
Buddy, we don't speak Alabaman, okay? We don't know.
Shot in the head, and he can keep all of this in
Squirrel.
like, and you're fucking like, I've never been shot in the head. And
hey, I only had one.
I was shot in the ear.
I was shot in the face by my own medic. All right, so we've all been shot somewhere in this extremity, okay, except for you, buddy, because we all weren't at Spiker riding bus lines to the salsa night, whatever the hell you were doing over there.
I just made sure that I was fucking in the chow hall when all the shooting ever happened. I was like, well, fuck it. Nobody's angry when they're getting free eggs.
Right.
Nope, not at all. Hey, but Bryan, Bryan, do me a favor after the show, make sure you share your YouTube channel on our page.
Okay.
All right. So we'll make sure that we get that out there, and we'll put it on Gruntworks too, as well. And as we're on that topic of veterans, supporting veterans, remember, everyone, pay attention, share this with all your friends. All right. Nobody likes grunt style anymore. All right. They're not owned by veterans. There's not even a single grunt in their board. However, Gruntworks and Veteran Trash Talk has grunts, okay, and then we got a half a grunt. Bill, he's the fister, okay, half a grunt, and like support the actual grunts. Nobody likes
we
grunt
love-
style anymore. Say it. Say
We
it
love our
twice.
fisters too.
I mean, kind of. I mean, not since they moved to Devarty, that they're all fat now and they can't get up the damn mountain when you need them to. So he'll tell you about it. Yeah, look at him smiling. He's all about to talk about the White Claw and taking a knee, but when I bring up fat fisters, he knows I'm fucking right. So go ahead, Bill.
First of all, there's fat infantry guys. It's called all over the Army that aren't in the 18th Airborne Corps.
Yeah,
So,
they're legs. Nobody cares about legs.
Yeah.
I mean, that's valid.
Yes, it is, Bill. But Dave,
Yeah, we
close
good?
this
We
out.
good?
Yeah.
Brian,
Yeah, well,
we good? Yeah.
Brian, you anything else to say before
Anything
Dave
else,
closes
brother?
I just want to thank you guys for having me on. And I'm sure someone will benefit from this. Because like I said, my driving force was to help fellow veterans, and I feel good about what we talked about today. And I just want to thank y'all for having me on.
It's a therapy for all of us, man. Thank you for coming on. And thank you for sharing your story and kind of talking to us about where you were at one point in your life to where you're at now, you know, so like phenomenal shit. Thanks everybody for tuning in. You can go to
Dave, don't close us out yet. I want you to just take a minute to just say whatever's on your mind, Dave.
You don't want to hear what's on my mind.
We got to broaden you a little bit. We got to. You
don't want to hear what's on my mind. What do you want to hear, Nick?
Bit, chest out, whatever's on your mind. Chest out.
What do you want to hear?
A little bit, like I don't know.
What would you
shit.
like to hear? Hey, what's going on in the recruiting world? Like,
yeah, what's going on in the recruiting world?
This is a setup.
What's up?
This is a setup. I love recruiting.
No, we're putting you on the spot. That's what happens. You know, when you want to become a talent of the show,
it's a trap.
You got to be on. Show the shirt, Dave. Show the shirt. All right, get the demons out. All right, get a demon out, Dave. What's a demon? Come on, talk about a demon.
Talk about my demons.
Sure. I don't know. I'm trying to broaden you. Let's go. Get a little minute talking here.
Let's go, Nick. I'm good.
Okay, fine. Close it out.
Fucker. Hey, you can shop these fucking awesome tees at shop.veterantrashtalk.com. All right. Get the demon out. All right. Nick has a bunch of demons and he calls me every night to get them out and I square them away. So we are good to go. Again, Brian.
No problem admitting that.
No problem admitting that. We all have them. And our job is
don't fight them alone.
Don't fight them alone. Yeah, exactly. Use your community and do exactly what Brian did. He got the fuck up and said, I can't do this anymore. And he pushed forward. And now look at him fucking killing it. All right.
Hey, before we go, I have to show you the real stars of the show.
Oh, let's see them.
Oh, that's not what Caesar does.
Caesar just looks at him and they just come.
Oh, look.
That's the real star of the show.
Nice.
Can you let one out and let him hunt real quick?
No. It's a process. I'll never get them reeled in.
Hey, awesome. Let him go tree a coon real fast. It's just like 10 minutes. You just find one, right?
Yeah, they're everywhere, aren't they? You're out in the country. They're everywhere.
Well, not if you're a good coon hunter, Dave.
No.
You actually.
But if they're trained well, they should find them immediately.
You actually want to manage your population because if you get a good dog, you can kill them out pretty quick, and then I'd be out of business. So I manage my population really well, and that's another reason that people send dogs to me is because I have. They may hunt in places where there are not many, and it does them good to be in a high population. So especially if they're a young dog.
Damn. All right. Well, for everybody that's watching, go to veterantrashtalk.com. All right. All the links to our YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, shop are all in there. Again, these awesome tees. All right. Part of our proceeds go to Stop Soldier Suicide. And again, last but not least, 10th Mountain Whiskey, my favorite sponsor out of all of them. Type in VTT, get yourself a discount.
And Bush
Saturday. Boom.
See you guys later.
Where do we turn to, veteran trash talk? Where do we turn to, veteran trash talk? Where do we turn to, veteran trash talk? Bravely every morning. Bad days, good days, up we rise. rises. Bad days, good days, up we rises. Bad days, good days, up we rises. Bravely every morning. One day I'm okay, next day darkness. One day I'm okay, next day darkness. One day I'm okay, next day darkness. Bravely every morning. Bad days, good days, up we rises. Bad days, good days, up we rises. Bad days, good days, up we rises. Bravely every morning. Past is the past, so be forgiven. The past is the past, so be forgiven. The past is the past, so be forgiven. Bravely every morning. Bad days, good days, up we rises. Bad days, good days, up we rises. Bad days, good days, up we rises. Bravely every morning. Let's fight, don't quit, call that in order. Let's fight, don't quit, call that in order. Let's fight, don't quit, call that in order. Bravely every morning. Bad days, good days, up we rises. Bad days, good days, up we rises. Bad days, good days, up we rises. Bravely every morning. Raise a glass for those we're missing. Raise a glass for those we're missing. Raise a glass for those we're missing. Bravely every morning. Bad days, good days, up we rises. Bad days, good days, up we rises. Bad days, good days, up we rises. Bravely every morning. That's what we do in Veteran Trash Talk. That's what we do in Veteran Trash Talk. That's what we do in Veteran Trash Talk. Bravely every